Hello and welcome to Infamous, the audio podcast. This is Brandon, or Mutilus on Discord.
This is Jeremy, and I go by just Jeremy, and I think I'm still on Discord. I have no idea.
This is Aaron. I go by Treffenwood in Discord and in bed.
Aaron, is this the last time we'll ever see you, or is there still a week or two before that?
There are 2 weeks. 2 weeks until D-Day.
Ooh.
2 weeks and...
I thought it was E-Day.
Oh, wait, I lied. It's a week and 2 days!
All right, so one more week.
Yeah, one more week. You got me for one more time.
Nice.
So you got a video game, and also Kenny trying to kick him out of playing any games anymore.
Well, I was going to say, we heard this the first time around with Diablo 4, and then you missed 0 episodes. Is that a statement about Diablo 4, or...?
Probably.
We're assuming Path of Exile 2 is going to be not Diablo 4.
So I am hyped, but very tempered as well, because it's early access. It's a beta, right?
They're just opening the early access. It's not the launch.
Correct. Launch will probably be about a year after early access.
Oh,
9 months to a year is my guess.
Okay.
So I'm more excited to just get in on the ground floor and what I anticipate being a decades-long journey, if you will. And I remember Path of Exile 1 getting in. I wasn't part of the initial launch, but it was pretty close thereafter. I might have been on release, but not early access for it. And it was great to see like the different quality of life changes they made, how they ran their leagues, the different mechanics they kept introducing. So that was really, really interesting. Even though had you joined maybe 2 years afterwards, it would have been a more streamlined game, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
So I'm happy to be there for the beginning for this one, even though I think there will definitely be some growing pains and some issues. So I'm not expecting a polished product.
Okay.
However, I'm expecting a very good, fun, playable product. We'll see.
Fair. Okay.
But they're only releasing like 12 of the 36 possible class combinations, and only half of the acts. So definitely still ways to go.
Alrighty. Well, as always, for announcements, we got links in the show notes. And moving into news.
Hey, news! Yes. News!
We have a little bit of news. Aaron, do you want to talk about our news?
Yeah, so AMG, we're a little delayed on this news, but a short while ago, AMG announced the Timelines pack for 2025. I, to be honest, have not even looked at the pack. I just know approximately what it has in it. So if the 2024 Timelines was fighting on Earth, this is fighting off Earth. So it will include most of or all of your astral characters. Think Black Order, Cosmic People, Wizards, Asgard, etc.
Yeah, usually in Marvel, it's referred to, there's like the city level, the global level, and the cosmic level. And so, looks like we got some cosmic stuff here. I'm pulling up the list now, hopefully.
Does it still include the entire cast of Spider People?
Hopefully it includes all of them, and they don't have to lose anyone this time.
Good.
I was moderately excited and happy for Timeless 2024 because of who it took out of the meta. Right, you didn't have to plan for Cosmic Ghost Rider and Thanos and
Sure.
all of those nasty people. Now it's basically fucking Thanos in every list, and that makes me want to shoot myself. So, my chance of playing a Timeless 2025 event is exactly 0.
Yeah, I definitely like the concept of removing the super meta models from it to, spice up the meta a little bit, see some more back to the roots kind of lists being played.
Mm-hmm.
But in my personal experience, it seemed a lot more like they just said the hand-wavy bullshit, and they didn't really think about who needs what. And it just felt like there were definitely some have factions and some have not factions. And coming from War Machine, I got too much of that already. And so anytime I walk in, I'm like, and I can look at 2 different rosters and goes well, this list gave up nothing, and this list got gutted. I'm like, well, this isn't fair. Why would I want to play it? And so it was very off-putting initially. I tried to look at it through a fair lens, but it was just really hard. So yeah, I'm noticing the first thing is what you're saying is that Thanos is legal, so that should be fine. I don't actually have a huge problem with Thanos right now. I know he's good, but I don't know. He's the good I know how to deal with, and so it doesn't bother me so much. Ooh. Okay, so Jeremy, you haven't looked at this list yet, right?
No, I have not.
This will be a fun Q&A session. I can tell you, there is exactly one legal Avengers leader. Who do you think it is?
Tell me it's Steve 2.
Steve 2 is not a leader for Avengers, so I cannot do that.
Damn it. Ugh.
You picked the only Captain America that's not a leader of the Avengers.
So he's been off for a while. Just give him, let him get back in the rhythm.
I'm going to count it.
Let me see. Is it Sam?
It is not. It's not Sam. You've eliminated one of them.
Is it Hulkbuster?
It is Hulkbuster.
Fuck yeah, there you go.
Because that's what Avengers needed, is a 6-point leader. I do like Hulkbuster, though. I hope this encourages him to get played more. Although, looking at the list just on the first page, I don't think that's going to be true.
Hulkbuster's not the answer for Thanos?
So,
What?
Just going to Asgard next. There's one legal... So I'm noticing a trend of everyone has one leader so far.
That's what it used to be. In 2024, it was one leader.
Was it? That makes sense.
Until they came out with...
they released a bunch of models. They were like, oops.
Well, I think the releases during the year, I think, changed that. Mm-hmm. I could be wrong.
So, who do you think the Asgard leader is, Jeremy?
Loki 2.
It's not.
Excuse me?
It's Mighty Thor.
Okay. It's got... Yeah, I was going to say, it's one of the new ones.
And so, looking through here, I haven't checked, but it looks like simply the other leaders are not allowed, and everyone else is. Because there's a lot of Asgardians on this list.
Oh my god, okay.
So we got Valkyrie, Thor 2, Scourge, Loki 1, Lady Sif, Hela, Heimdall, Enchantress, Beta Ray Bill, Angela, and Mighty Thor. So I think that's basically all of them. I'm not noticing anybody who's not. Okay, moving on to Cabal. Jeremy, who do you think the Cabal leader is?
One leader for Cabal.
One leader to lead them all, and in the darkness, fight them.
Ugh. Let me think. Space, galaxies, and universes. Cabal. Good lord, there's so many fucking characters. I can't even remember who is a leader these days.
I'll give you a hint. I don't think you remember this guy.
Oh, then I'll never guess it. I don't know.
It's Malekith.
He's the only leader?
He's the only leader for Cabal. They took both of the expensive leaders from the two primary factions, and they made them the leaders. So you have 6 and 7-point leaders only in Cabal and Avengers. Now, I actually like that because they have like the deepest roster, and so that kind of makes you think about playing the deepest factions. I kind of like that a little bit, but at the same time, it's kind of a dick move.
They gave a 7-point leader.
And so if you think about it, because there's also other factions that A-Force only has a 6-point leader.
Okay, sure.
And so you now have two 6-point leaders and a 7-point leader for multiple factions. What the hell? Oh, there's a lot of spoilers on this list. Aaron, you said you haven't read it at all?
I know there's some Inhumans.
Guess who the Inhuman leader is?
It's like an M. Is it Gorgon or
Maximus the Mad.
Maximus. There you go.
Maximus the Mad. I had no idea who that was.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
I mean, just looking here, man, the average point cost of leaders, I think, is north of 5 right now. Yeah. Okay, so Apocalypse is of course legal. Oh, he has a new list. That's only 12 names.
A new list of Apocalypse dudes?
Yeah, because it only shows you the legal ones. Are they? I assume they're the same affiliation. They just annexed 4 of them.
Well, that's super simple and not complicated to have to learn an additional set of guys.
It's just they're just listing them. I think. I don't think they've changed. I think they just took 4 out for timelines because like Toad's not here, and then everybody still only has 2 options. I would be really surprised if they were different options. That'd be fucking weird. Okay, so just going bottom to top of leaders, X-Force has Cable, X-Men have Cyclops, Dracula is Dracula, S.H.I.E.L.D. has no leader. Strong.
It's a tactics card.
Oh, Midnight Suns has 2, but they're getting 1 this year. Yeah, Namor is there, so Namor is their leader, because, Namor needed to be legal.
And he's also space, right? Comes from space.
Yeah, he is. The space under?
Okay. Do what? Nothing. Oh. No, so I have a question. How does this work? Is anyone on the list legal, or can you only play people on the list in your faction?
Anyone on the list is legal.
Okay, even it's not just if they're in your list. Okay, because she only has 4 names. They've got She-Hulk, Taskmaster, Namor, and Agent Venom. That'd be a shit list. I'm just double checking.
Yeah, no, everyone's legal.
Okay, cool. So Blade for Midnight Suns, but then Elsa Bloodstone is coming out this year. Star-Lord for Guardians, obviously. Doctor Strange 1 for Defenders. Maximus the Mad for Inhumans. Red Skull 2 for Hydra. Malekith, Magneto for Brotherhood, Hulkbuster for Avengers, Mighty Thor for Asgard, Thanos for Black Order, and She-Hulk.
It sounds fucking scary.
That's a thick boy leader list. I think there's, 1 3-point leader on this list, and it's Star-Lord?
Are spiders even in there?
Nope. No webs.
No web.
Oh, no. Yep, no webs. Oh, and there's a list of tactics cards that are legal. Was that true last time?
Yeah.
Okay. Man, I have to write this down. Sorry, there's going to be some clicky clacks. I have to write this down. This is crazy. All right, so we got Apocalypse is 6, Cable's 5, Cyclops is 4, Dracula's 5, Blade is 4, Star-Lord 3, we don't know Maximus, Strange is 5, Red Skull's 5, Malekith is 7, Magneto 6, Hulkbuster 6, Mighty Thor 5, Thanos 6, really 8, and then She-Hulk 6. That's crazy. So there's only 14 factions in timelines. It's 73 total points divided by 14. Average point cost of a leader is 5.2 points. That's expensive.
Wow.
That's interesting. I wonder how that's going to interact with the new missions. Because I've heard that the threat value average is going up a little bit.
I wouldn't hate that.
Yeah, well, it's mostly just they're eliminating 15 points.
Yeah.
And so it'd be 16 to 20, so the average would be 17.5 instead of 17. But who knows, there might be like a new 22-point mission. Could be a lot of stuff. This is weird. Just looking now for like new models that we haven't seen yet. So Avalanche is on Brotherhood's list, who we knew was coming out, but we don't know when. Exodus, I don't know who that is.
Nope, don't know either.
Lady Mastermind, don't know who that is. That's just from Brotherhood. Yondu for Guardians, I think we knew he was coming.
That's cool. I'm glad they finally have said his name on a piece of paper.
Oh yeah.
I've just heard a lot of talk about it a long time ago.
Yeah, Inhumans are getting new Black Bolt, Karnak, Gorgon, and Maximus.
They need to make some more exciting movies because I don't know any of those fuckers. I'm not. This is not doing it for me.
Yeah, Inhumans have always been kind of weird because they're like the off-brand mutants because they're like mutants that aren't mutants, but they're literally just mutants.
They smoked some fucking blue crack, and then that's what happened.
Man-Thing is also due out for Midnight Suns. Yeah, that's all I see here. New restricted list is Brace, Fallback, Indomitable, Patch-Up, Sack. I think that's the same as normal. Notably, Researcher is not restricted in timelines. Aaron? News to 11. Aaron's a big fan of when they forget to make things game-wide.
It's also not legal until... Is that... What's the legal date on the document?
I think this is current. Let me see.
Because
there's no timeline events right now.
Sure.
No, this is for the legal in the 2025 timeline format.
Mm-hmm.
You go to the rules doc.
I'd imagine it's the first page, but I could be wrong.
What do you mean? Of
that doc, it doesn't say legal as of. No, it may not. Okay.
I figured it would be in the rules section. I think it's just active now because they took the 24 off the website, I think. I think the concept is we're not running any timeline events right now, so it's irrelevant on when it goes live.
I can buy that.
So going over to the rules doc, effective 11/15/24. Eat it! Yeah, it's been legal for almost 2 weeks.
Yep.
Now, obviously, very soon. So I wonder, this will be interesting, I guess. Is this a spoiler for the mission pack? Because are they going to update this list when the new mission pack comes out?
They have to, because the missions are on there, right?
Yeah, the missions are listed. We have Alien Ship, Deadly Virus, Hammers, Senators, Paranoia, Research, Scrolls, Spiders, Struggle, Montesi, Cosmic Invasion, Deadly Meteors, Demons, Gamma, Infinity, Intrusions, Mayor Fisk, Mutant Madman, Spider Scoundrels, and Riots.
I don't think so.
All missions we already have.
Yeah.
But there's like models on here that come out later next year. I mean, that doesn't mean these missions aren't changing.
Mm-hmm.
It just means that's the name of the missions.
Yeah. Well, I think there will be new mission names. That's just my
I would also have assumed that.
thought.
There is a change log section, but that's usually from when they forget Sentinels are part of the game.
It's only funny because it's true.
It's only, I mean, hold on, let me look up Sentinels real quick. They're not on here.
Seems like an oversight.
Yeah. Gladiator is listed as an unaffiliated model, which is telling because he's in the box with the missions and he's on the list and the missions aren't. Seems fine. What could possibly go wrong? Alright, well that was cool. Got some fun stuff on here. You can still play Agents of Smash and throw somebody's Dracula Castle at them.
Dracula Castle.
I'm playing Agents of Smash until Aaron stops bringing it. I'm just gonna throw it at him. I'm like, oh yeah? You think that's cute? Here you go. Keep it. Veterans of the Annihilation War. Is that a card that I'm just forgetting?
No.
That's new, right? That's not out?
Yeah, it is not out.
Okay. Yeah, that's just so weird to me that they have new stuff that's not out that hasn't been spoiled yet, but not the mission names. It makes me feel like there's not new mission names.
Okay. We will see.
Yeah, it's definitely not a card that's been spoiled. Alright. Anyway. Moving on, we have currently playing. Jeremy, would you like to go first and tell us about what list you've been playing?
Sure. I'm playing a Wakanda Black Order. There's a couple other leaders in there. List that essentially is unaffiliated. It has all the beater models, the best ones at the job of killing things, and also Thanos. And it has been really, really fun.
Cool.
I think that considering your leadership, which again we've talked about before on the cast, as Thanos is essentially your leadership, and being able to give everybody 2 dice and being able to manipulate the board really well is amazing leadership. And it also, if you just have a bunch of badass models that can fight really well, you can also go pretty wide and kill the shit out of stuff. So when all your models have rerolls and pierce and placement, like, it's pretty cool.
Are you doing Wakanda affiliation most of the time when you're playing?
No affiliation at all. But I do have Black
so
Panther.
You just have Wakandan models.
I have Black Panther in my yeah. I also have Okoye. I think there is a 15-point build where I could take Okoye and Thanos and with Black Panther. I could actually do that. Black Order I have.
I mean, that was originally the power list in the game, like way back when. Like
yeah,
right after Wave 1 came out, the thing that won the TTS League was just Wakanda with Thanos.
That's true. Yeah, and I mean I have Ghost Rider, Cosmic Ghost Rider, and Thanos, so I could go Black Order if I really wanted to. And I think there's 1 or 2 more leaders floating in there somewhere. But yeah, that's the concept, and it actually plays in a just as fun as any other leadership. I don't feel like the list is actually missing anything. Like I'm like, gee, I wish I had X, Y, and Z. Well, yeah, I don't. I think it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember back when I went to the Warfare Before Last, and I played mostly unaffiliated all weekend. It was pretty fun. So it's nice just to be able to put whatever models you happen to want to play in that game down.
And also play whatever tactics cards that you feel you need. Like, there isn't any that are like, oh, I need an Avengers one because it's so good, you can't live without it. Well, you know.
Yeah, I've been taking Brace out of a lot of my rosters just to put in something a little bit more specific, like Sack, and just like, oh, I don't need it this game. Like, it's so easy to put Brace in every list that, like, a lot of the times I'll just look up and go, like, I'll just not play it so I can get another card in because I just want to play something more interesting. Like, Brace is just so boring.
I hear you.
Aaron, what do you got? What have you been playing?
I have not played a game in the past week. When I do play, I am still intending to bring Dracula and see how that goes.
Nice. Well, I played a game this week.
Okay.
I played against CJ, one of our locals. I played the Dracula Mephisto Cabal with Red Skull 1 that we had talked about previously last 2 weeks.
Did you fist as hard as you could fist?
I don't think Mephisto's okay. How did they release this model? This model is fuck-busted.
What do you really think about it?
The whole list, the whole concept of the Mephisto in the list was like, well, like, you just let him do what he does, right? Like, I never even really expected to use Termination Clause. I was like, how often is it really going to come up? It turns out, like, literally every fucking game, it's going to be massively important. So that you just do the standard things, like you're going to walk medium, use his active, how can it be of service, place on the center line, and you're gonna do the Infernal Bargain attack against the guy that you use the ability on. More than likely, it's going to do a damage, and you're going to get a deal token. Then you'll just second action do it again, so you get a third deal token right away. You're at 3 deal tokens right now. Now the issue being kind of that if you do that, now you're at 0 power, and you go into the next turn. So if you have 3 deal tokens, you power up for 4, so you can just immediately Hellfire Lash, go to 5 power, and then beam. So in Red Skull 1, it's a little bit better. Like, it's nice, but it's not perfect. So every time you deal damage with attack, you gain a power. So it turns his Infernal Bargain into a gainer. And so at the end of round 1, you're sitting on 2 power. You power up for 4. You go to 6 power. So you just immediately do the how can I be of service if you want to. There's also, like, you don't have to. You just do anything else. Or you could just immediately Termination Clause if you're in a good position. But what I've noticed is doing the how can I be of service to get into position for the beam is incredibly powerful. Because you choose any model within 3, place within one of them, line up your beam, and then just do your 9 dice beam attack. You also use it to get out of danger by placing on, like, the outskirts of the combat. Having Dracula nearby to just take hits for him was incredibly silly. Like, it was so dumb. I don't know how you're supposed to kill Mephisto, ever. Because he gets so many tokens just easily throughout the game. He doesn't do a ton of damage. He does good damage, I would say. Because I'd say most turns he's going to bargain once or twice. And then he's going to do like 6 dice gainers, whatever. And then it's usually once per round he'll do the big Termination Clause beam, which is great. Dracula being in there and not ever having to take a move action is pretty freaking sick. Because obviously Dracula just prints money if he doesn't have to move. That's like his kit, right? And then the fact that he gets attacked and he swings back, and also Red Skull 1 turning Dracula's blood gain into a gainer attack to where he's gaining power back means that, like, the whole package basically only costs 2, and you're healing off of it, and it seems really good. Also being able to bleed people in the middle of their activation is always fun. I think the package worked extremely well. Obviously, me and my opponent had not played with Mephisto yet, and so neither of us really knew how to fully take advantage of the kit yet. But yeah, it felt like it was just scripted on rails the whole time I was playing it. The decisions felt very easy. So we played Intrusions and Montesi. No, sorry, Gamma Montesi. We played Gamma Montesi. So it was just straight ease. I had Prio. I just passed until he had to move somebody to the middle, or I was going to go up on points at the end of the turn. So he put somebody on the middle. I think I went first. I moved Sabretooth up, picked up the middle extract, got shot, and then Red Skull placed him backwards to protect him. Then he moved somebody to the middle later in the turn. Mephisto came up, got his 2 tokens. You're just trying to trigger one of the 2 deal cards, like the anti cards, because you want to get your max up to 5 as quickly as possible, but your opponent obviously will never just easily let you do that. So anyway, we go into turn 2, and immediately, Mephisto has like 6 or 7 power, and so he just does the beam, and I think the beam dazed 3 people, because I had already done a bunch of damage with just random attacks from the rest of my list, like Dracula getting to move long and attack, put damage on somebody, and then Red Skull didn't attack on round 1. And so there's just a lot of stuff that you get out there. Mephisto obviously just hitting people, because he's doing 3 attacks around. One of them only does 1 damage, but he's still doing attacks on everybody else. So I ended up dazing like 3 people on the first action of round 2. And then went to him. He did a little bit of damage to Dracula, who then swung back and like healed it to full. Then Dracula dazes a 4th person, and it just like was off the rails from there. And he had a really good swing back turn where I ended up losing Prio because I dazed 4 people. but it just wasn't enough because he could never get Mephisto dead. And Dracula did eventually get dazed and injured. I think he actually died on like turn 4. But it just didn't matter at that point. He had absorbed so much damage from getting the free swingbacks. I think he healed like 20 damage over the course of the game. And so it just seemed very, very strong. Obviously, if we were playing like a more scenario mission where I had to spread out a lot more, it's a lot more interesting. But I think Dracula and Mephisto are both very good at chasing people, which is nice. It's just if they can like slow the opponent down enough to get the later turns. What do you guys think?
I don't think Dracula chases very well.
I just speed long, hits hard. Like, he's not exceptional at it. Like, there's obviously better ones.
Okay.
But he's fine. The crazy thing to me is just, like, you can basically never attack Mephisto because he'll just always put it on somebody when he feels convenient. And he generates those fucking tokens at such a crazy rate that I don't know what... You're never going to need them. Like, you're going to be capped out basically the whole game. You only use them for defense. And maybe that was a mistake on my part. Maybe I should have been doing Devil's Due more often, but it just never seemed relevant. The cute thing I really liked about the list is up the ante, removing an activated token from Mephisto is actually really good. And so your opponent just letting you do that, it actually feels punishing. And so you can use that if you know they're never going to give you the 2 extra deal tokens. You can just do that, get the free activation, and what I did was I also played Cosmic Invigoration, so you can just activate Mephisto like 3 times. It seems totally fine. It's definitely not busted. I do think the other one, Brand New Day, I think it is, the other Mephisto card that gives you tokens, I think is not nearly as good as I initially thought. Yeah, Brand New Day. I think it's very unlikely you'll get in position to daze somebody and choose to not want to daze them. That seems pretty bad. Or maybe I'm just a coward. One of the two.
It seems like it's a very complicated model for your opponent to have to figure out what's going on. I mean, having you hand me cards all the time and have to say, which one do you want? Which one do you want? I think that's a little, that's like a what the fuck. Like, and maybe... I just haven't played against him enough. I'm sure there's the correct answer, which is no, yes, fine, do it.
Yeah, that's kind of what it felt like. I played up the ante probably 4 times in my game against CJ, and I think he took the tokens on the 4th time, obviously, but it just seemed like I probably shouldn't have even played it there was the mistake. Because, like, it's not a just play it every time thing. I think I was wrong about that. You do only want to do it at certain times. Mainly because if you look at it from the perspective of, I'm doing like 6 damage to this person that has 0 power. It's like, well, the downside is I just don't take damage and you get 2 Devil's Deal tokens. But there's a lot of time where it's like, you getting 2 more Devil's Deal tokens is mostly irrelevant. Because, like, the game is, like, the point of the game where that's important is over. And so all you're doing is saving hit points on my important model.
The other thing that I wonder is it okay that in a tournament game you've got this guy and you are constantly flipping the clock to your opponent saying, here, read this card again, are you sure?
I think that can be a thing for sure against people who are already like, not slow players, but people that use their clock more, like they dig themselves deeper into the clock just on their normal decision-making process. And there's definitely a way you could be not a dick about it, but you can really lean into the fact that I'm eating your time. Mm-hmm. You could very easily just like, okay, like blah, 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 game's happening. It's like, oh, I attacked you. It's like, okay, I'm going to play this card and flip the clock to them, which is fair and the way that should work. But then if they didn't know it was a card mechanic already, they have to stop and read the card and then rethink about the entire situation and like what the outcome of that is. And it's not a big deal if, like, you're going to be okay on time anyway, but if it was already going to be close, that is going to matter, because that will probably eat 2 to 3 minutes of their clock throughout the game of you just playing up the ante every time you deal damage to them. Not to mention, because it's everything about his kit eats your opponent's clock, because like, oh, can I attack him? Is he going to place on my model over here and hit me? Is he going to do the beam? Is he going to play one of his 2 Tactus cards? It's like, who is he going to sack the hit to? Can I afford to let him move one of his models back into position? There's just so many, like, decisions that get made, and a lot of them are gatekept by your opponent making a choice, and then once they make the choice, then the Mephisto player starts to think about it.
Yeah,
but
it's
up
just
until
kinda,
that moment, I'll just let you think about it the whole
Yeah.
time. And it doesn't matter what I think. I'm not using time. I'm putting my model in the obvious position and just putting you in a pretzel and waiting for you to make a mistake is what it feels like.
it's just a weird dynamic that was added into the game by that character alone. The rest of the game is not really. The rest of the game is, I'm going to do this to you. Are you going to play attack this card? Yes or no?
Oh, well,
and you understand that.
Yeah,
that,
Heroes for Hire and Lethal Protector are very much the same way, but it's once, right? You only have to think about it the one time. It's like until Lethal Protector gets played, and then it's over. Like, I only need to worry about attacking models within 3 of him until he plays it. So you have the option of just face-checking it, walking straight into it, and just letting it happen, just to get it out of the board. Mephisto, you could do that, and then he'll be like, nah, never mind. Or I'll just, not sack this one. And you're like, ugh, it's every time.
It's just weird. It's a weird dynamic it added.
Yeah. And unlike Lethal Protector, where it's like, oh, well, you can take one hit, I just need to choose not a great attack to let you take. Well, not with Mephisto's ability. Every single time I'm hitting you, I can play this card. And then you might just forget that Mephisto's already activated. Changes the dynamic completely. And the other one, Brand New Day, which remove an activated token from any one of your models, isn't it? Where is it? Yeah. Removes an activated token from any allied character. There's a lot of characters you can't let go twice. A lot. Namor just gets to double dip. Yeah, okay. That seems fine. Immortal Hulk gets to kill my list twice. Cool. What are you supposed to do? Yeah, it's only been one game so far. A lot of my worries have been confirmed. But obviously, there's a lot of learning left to do.
I mean, you were also playing. He uses it was a New Mutants list, wasn't it?
He was playing New Mutants with Mephisto as well. So it was Mephisto Mirror.
Oh, he had Mephisto as well.
Yeah,
you all deserve each other.
His Mephisto unfortunately never got a double deal token. He had the one he started with. He because the way Prial worked, he ended up moving Mephisto to the point because he thought he could survive. So he used it to sack the first hit on Mephisto, which damaged another person, so I got the Devil's Deal token. And then the next turn, he just immediately dazed, because I put 3 attacks into him, and he didn't have any Devil's Deal tokens to sack anymore. And so it was just a prio issue, is why his Mephisto got dumpstered. And so I don't really think he made terrible decisions. It was just bad situation. In hindsight, I think he probably would have played it differently, but that's just, trying to avoid getting in bad situations. I don't know. I think that you're going to see a lot of Mephisto. A lot of Mephisto over the next year. Have you guys played against him yet?
I gave you my one experience last time.
Oh, yeah. Mephisto with Loki 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have not. I've just watched.
That seems like a dirty trick, honestly. The Trickster's Boon. It's surprise beam. I don't know that you need it. I mean, if your opponent's going to put somebody on the midline, you're kind of going to get there anyway.
What do you mean?
Because you start with 2 power, you
Yeah.
spend it to get to the midline, you do the Trickster's Boon, then you do the Gainer, power up for 3, so you're at 4, you do the Gainer, and you do an 8 dice beam on the second turn, basically guaranteed.
Oh, he beamed twice.
That's the problem. That's not ideal.
Yeah. No. He placed off of the whatever ability it's called, and then double beamed. That was the issue.
So did you attack him?
Oh yeah, I dazed his ass.
Oh, so he woke up and did it.
Yeah, he woke up.
Okay, that makes sense.
With
then he should
7
almost
power.
have enough power anyway. Yeah.
Well, he had 7.
Yeah.
Spent 2 to place, had 5, beamed, got 5 more, did it again.
Yeah.
Because he spent down to 0 by sacking on to Thor.
Mm-hmm.
And then I killed him, which gave him 7 for the next turn. Maybe he should have had 8 then. Anyway, he had either just enough or 1 more than he needed after waking up from full days with the Trickster's Boon. Yeah. No, 1 surprise beam was fine. The double beam was not okay.
Yeah.
A model dead is all right. 4
the
models
fact that
dead is no.
4 models dead, not okay.
Yeah, no okay.
The issue for me is that he's got self-movement, he's got allied model movement, he's got self-defense, he's got huge upside damage potential with the beam, he's got extra power generation, and he's got other tricks on top of that you don't even need to utilize that you can. And then on top of that, he has a arguably good stat line. It's actually probably just not great for a 5-pointer. It's just acceptable levels.
Mm-hmm.
Like 344 is definitely not impressive, considering he doesn't have any other like defensive or statistical strengths of survivability. Obviously the ability to sack hits is huge, but in my experience, it's extremely hard to kill him because you can always just bring somebody in that's going to eat the hits for you. To me, it feels like you have to like sucker him into taking a hit and then throw shit at him.
I mean, at some point he runs out of people to throw at you because they're all dazed.
I mean, can be, right? Like, if you just put him in the middle of your list and expect him to live, that's obviously dumb, but the issue is, like, now I just take really efficient, cheap models like Luke Cage. It's like, well, I'll just sack to Luke Cage. Well, you're going to chew on him for an entire round, so it's like, sure, whatever. Like, you might just one-shot him, but, like, it's Marvel. Like, he statistically should take several hits.
Yep.
And then I don't even need to burn tokens anymore, because I just put him within range 2 of you, and now he's sacking on his own. And so it saves my tokens and power on Mephisto. And then the thing for me that I'm worried about being a real issue is that it also blocks throws. Like, I'll just put a guy in front of you so you can't throw shit at me.
Yep.
It's like I'll block the throw lane. That's a problem for me. Other models like Colossus that normally you have trouble forcing people to attack anyway that have like mobility issues, like Colossus and Black Dwarf specifically. Throwing those two models in there and forcing them to be an issue for your opponent seem really good.
Blob seems
My
like
favorite so
a good
far
target.
is still Dracula. Do what? Colossus?
Blob.
Yeah, Blob's a good one for the counter push. Yeah.
He certainly seems like a spicy 5-point model.
He felt a lot more like a 6-point model in my game.
So if you try to place Black Dwarf within one but can't, he no longer becomes the target of the character.
Why? Because it says then.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Is that your plan? Surround him?
Well, it's within 3 of the enemy characters, so... Oh, wait, sorry. I'm reading Can I Be a Service?
Yeah, it's one of him.
Yeah, it's then. Yeah. I just... Of anyone you're trying to place somewhere, if you have a building nearby, it can be problematic.
Yeah. It's definitely something to keep in mind when you're putting him down, but again, the fact that he like teleports around, you just fix all your problems with that.
Yep.
The thing that also really annoys me is like, how are you supposed... Like, you can't control him. Like, it's so hard to get him out of range 3 of your shit anyway. Not to mention, he just, like, walk medium in 3. Like, we measured it out. He can cross, like, 16 inches of board with one action. It's like,
if he's just walking, but if he is spending a turn walking, that's one less 6-die attack he's making.
Sure, like, he's not immune to control, but the fact that he's crossing that distance and making 2 attacks is ridiculous.
Sure. I hesitate to call Infernal Bargain an attack.
I think it matters. There's a lot of times you leave people on 1, or just people that have, like, let's say, for example, like martial artists. It's like if I just say this is an auto damage and I get benefits, sure. Like, it's just good.
Sure. It is not nothing, but it is not the damage potential of saying I attacked him twice.
Yeah. This might be the model that's supposed to defeat Logan. Because you're just like, oh, I'll just zap him for 1, and then he freaks out and damages everybody else too, and then I'll beam over the whole team. Like, he's like, oh, this feels not great. Yeah, I don't know. He seems very strong for a 5. But I guess we'll see.
Debating painting mine a vastly different color than the ubiquitous red.
But he's the devil. He's supposed to be red.
You need to paint him skin tone.
just naked
just like
skin.
Just a fiery...
I hate my flesh tones.
You paint him green like a scroll?
It's gonna do blue.
Ooh.
Of course you will. What did you did like another fire guy blue, didn't you?
My Iceman is cool.
Yeah. The Human Torch when you painted it blue.
That's right. It was Human Torch.
What is this guy? Your black crimson dynamo? Yeah, I've had it with you.
Okay, blue it is. Blue devil.
Blue it is. Actually, like a black or a dark gray would be cool too. That would be cool.
Ooh, maybe we'll do that. That does sound cool. Keep the red cloak, go with black skin. There you go. I like that. Fire
would also pop with that too.
Say what?
Fire, like his fire stuff at the bottom of his base.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just do some like OSL on all of his muscles.
I've never done OSL. Fire. Not going to start.
Yeah.
Do you want to give some props to Zach for making it to the TTS finals, which will happen this Saturday on the 30th of November.
He's using... Zach. What list is he using?
Wakanda.
Oh, his Wakanda list. Yep.
It sounds like he's going to play Hellfire again. He played Hellfire last round as well.
Yep.
Surprise, Hellfire Club at the top.
It's like Wakanda with an Emma splash, basically.
Talking about Zach's list, I think Zach is running Wakanda fighty stuff with Thanos.
No, it's debating how much to say. People probably.
So this doesn't
listen to
officially
us.
launch till Saturday afternoon. Only the Patreon people will get it earlier.
Yeah, they won't let Zach down. The goal is not to play Thanos. In fact, I don't think he's ever put him on the table.
He has never once put his Thanos down in that list.
So yeah,
That's why I was trying to mislead him.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like, yeah, he's playing Thanos with some Wakanda models.
I know he made it to TTS finals, but I'm here to tell you he's wrong.
So
Thanos
you are correct.
every time.
He had no business winning his last game.
Yeah.
His opponent handed it to him on a silver platter. Having said that, that's a little harsh. He made a lot of good plays to dig himself out of a hole, and his opponent made a crucial mistake. If he doesn't make the good plays combined with the mistake, he can't win it.
I think even like with the mistake the guy made, I think he was just assuming he wasn't going to kill the model he attacked.
It's the
But he
famous,
did kill
there's
them.
only a 10% chance I do this. Sure, but if I do this, I lose the game.
Yeah.
For a marginal benefit, right? I've done
So
it a
anyway,
couple
I
times,
started
and then you
blasting.
learn, nope, higher than 0% chance, not rolling dice.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, M'Baku put his Zach's entire team on his shoulders. It was just like, don't worry, bro, I gotcha.
I hate M'Baku so much. I hate that fucking model.
Why do you hate him? I don't hate him.
I just think it's bad game design. Like, most of his kit is just really badly built. Because he's a roulette machine, he can kill the entire planet or die.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I
hate
agree with
models
that.
like that.
I don't like playing models like that, but I'm not aghast they exist.
Sure. I'll just pull up his card real quick. M'Baku. Do you have to put the little... Okay, you do. So his basic attack has pursuit and push on it. I fucking hate that. Like the fact that he, like, a random model, like just pick a random dude with a stick. Is like, well, first off, it's a range 3 attack. That seems odd. Whatever. But then also on top of that, it's a builder that has push and follow up on it, which is annoying. Then his spender throws automatically any direction medium, as long as they're below size 5. And then also on top of that can trigger a move and another attack. Like, it just feels like how can that be okay on a 4-point model? And then, like, all of the other models in the game that exist, we're just going to say, like, that's not relevant. We're just going to make this guy who can do all this stuff. It's just too much, right? That's how I feel.
I mean,
like,
it can be too much if he hits the ceiling, sure.
Right. And
Plenty
so
of games he doesn't.
Exactly. A lot of the time he won't. But it's like, well, I don't like that game design where you're just making... Like, they just keep piling shit on there. It's like, why is this guy doing all that? And so part of it's probably that we had the established what a 4-pointer was for like 2.5 years of the game. And then they started releasing much, much better 4s. And so I think it's mostly about like the concept of like this power level of the game being reset to a higher point. And so I think that's partially what bothers me about it, but also just like, well, if you hit all your triggers, it's amazing. And it's like, well, don't make a model that's like that then. Like, just make more consistent models that
but
don't have these wild inconsistencies.
After 160 models, if every model is the same, the game has no flavor.
Well, you can make them not the same without giving them like 9 like different triggers. And then like he's also randomly immune to collisions, like for no reason that makes any sense, like storyline wise. It's like he's a big dude. There's a lot of big dudes in Marvel. They're not all immune to collisions. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, something about it irks me. It feels like it was like they just kept putting shit on there because they didn't know what to do. But yeah, like it's kind of like, it feels a lot like Shang-Chi. It's like, why does he have 900 rules? Like, probably didn't need that many. Probably could cut it back a little.
Probably did not.
And also just has better stats than most models in the game. The only bad thing about M'Baku is his energy 2, which is the least important of all stat lines. I don't know. It's just like Logan. I think Logan is also terrible game design. I was under the impression, by the way, based on what everyone was saying, I don't remember ever reading the quote semifinals. And so I thought last week was the finals that Zach had won. And I was like, good job, Zach. Congrats. He's like, yeah, I got the finals this week. I'm like, what? Like, fucking liar. So
reading is hard.
I know. I'd have to just like care enough to read it, probably, is the problem.
Ouch.
So I was talking with Zach, and he asked if I wanted to commentate his game. And I was like, hell yeah, I want to. You should get me on there, and I'll just fucking tell everyone how all you ever do is dice people. It'll be great. Just tell all these horrible lies about how you play the game. It'll be awesome.
Yeah, guess who's not commentating on the game?
Me.
Okay, yeah.
I think I did a good job when I commentated your game.
Yeah.
Did you ever listen to it?
I did.
Ooh. I love that I felt like a fortune teller in that game. I was like, oh yeah, Aaron's going to play this combination model is exactly at this threat level. He's going to be unaffiliated. And then I think his name is Jake. I was like, well, why would you say that? That seems really unorthodox. I'm like, trust me, it's happening. It's 100%. It's right in stone. I put $1 million on it right now. And then your opponent moves Red Skull 2 to the middle. And I'm like, all right, so he's dead. We're just going to move past him. He's already dead. He died several seconds ago when he let go of the model. It's like, he looks okay. He's in cover. He's like probably range 8 away from Thanos. Like, no, he's dead. Like, he's 100%. No way he makes it out alive. This is like,
you don't know
the
it yet.
piano's falling. Like,
He already took his last breath.
Yeah. It's like Samurai's putting the sword away. He's going to fall into 3 pieces. We're just moving past it. All right. So in, I guess, the festive time of the year that is now Thanksgiving, which is basically what today is. I don't know. We kind of do this every year. We're like, we do the what you're thankful for per like. But I guess we'll just go with what's your favorite thing about Marvel right now. And so I guess I'll start off. This is not like a strict form to this or anything. I'm just curious where you guys are at. The thing for me that I'm most excited about Marvel right now is I think there are a lot of fun, interesting models that they have either spoiled or released recently. Like, I think Wrecking Crews is a really fun kit that I would like to see more mechanics like that, where it's kind of got like a progression within the model. So like the 3 different attacks, each leading into each other. The whole way the kit works where you can like move and attack and all that. I think that's really cool. I really like the way Dracula and Mephisto are designed. I think Mephisto might be a little much, but I like the kits. They're very interactive. They're very, thought-provoking. And so, like, that combined with, like, a lot of the models that have come out lately, honestly, like, the monsters are all somewhat interesting. I really like the new Asgardians. Like, I'm still excited to get Mighty Thor on the table and just play a bunch of cheap Asgardians and run at people. Despite anything Zach says or Josh says. I think it's good. But yeah. I'm excited for the new mission pack. I'm hopeful that it will be fun and interesting. I think a shake-up in missions is exactly what the game needs right now.
I have to come up with something different than what you said, because
no,
that might take a
say
while.
whatever you want. You're an adult. You can do what you want.
All right, then I'll go. I'm glad that I have Disney Plus and can watch WandaVision whenever I want to.
Ooh.
I think that there's lots of good shows that they're coming up with, and yeah, Marvel's got that going for them. Again, I'm dead serious when I say they need to come out with some movies that follow along with some of these characters. I've been into comic books a long time, at least in the 90s, and none of these characters make any sense to me. Like, that just was not part of my generation. So,
you mean the characters from the game or the characters from the Marvel comics? What do you mean specifically?
The Marvel comics and the movies don't have any relationship to these models that are coming out now. Like, these are just giant. This is like when MODOK came out, deep, and I'm like, what the fuck is a MODOK?
Who's a MODOK? Yeah.
And then everybody else was like a Hulk, a Captain Marvel, like now it's like the Rumor Man, Doctor Insidious Nightmare. Yeah. I'm like, what is this? I don't.
So you don't like that they're digging deeper on like character concepts, where they're sifting through the garbage pile for models they can put in the game.
Yes, I would rather them, like was stated earlier, create more missions, create more interest, like keep the game fresh. Adding new guys that have the same abilities as 3 other guys basically doesn't help the game.
Sure. Well, I think that obviously you'd run into an issue if you just release, like, if you just go most popular to least popular and you just sorted all of the Marvel characters and you just start at the top and start releasing models down the list. You run out of interesting stuff after a while and people just turn it off. Like, right, they zone it out. Like, it's a harsh line they have to walk on when they're going to release like super popular stuff or like less well known things. Like, obviously no one was excited about the Sin and Viper box. Like, that's not really a thing. But in like Abomination and Wrecking Crew were like not well known models. I knew about Wrecking Crew. They were in, I think, Marvel Ultimate Alliance. And then like A-Bomb's obviously been in a lot of stuff, like franchise wise. Most people don't follow the Hulk specifically. They only follow like Hulk in Avengers. So yeah, I think those are all fair points. For me personally, when you said that initially, are you saying that you don't want TV shows, you do want movies? Is that what you were saying?
No, not at all.
Okay. I was going to say, I actually prefer the TV show format because I think you get a lot more content.
I think they've nailed some of the TV show stuff.
Yeah, the TV show's been knocked out of the park. All right, Aaron, did you come up with anything yet?
Nope.
All right, we'll circle back.
He's waiting for them to put all of the Marvel shows on VHS.
Betamax, so I can watch them.
On a record. Can you watch a record?
I watch records. So, Jeremy, you brought this up a little bit. Disney Plus TV shows. I finally watched Agatha All Along.
Oh.
Did you see it? Have you seen it?
I've only done half, so
okay.
I need to finish it.
Yeah, I'm not going to give any spoilers here because we're in the middle of the actual show. We don't.
Did you enjoy it?
I did. I liked it a lot. How can I not spoil anything?
I enjoyed the first. I enjoyed the episodes I saw. I just haven't picked it back up again.
Yeah, it feels like almost like coming home to Disney Plus because WandaVision was the first show, and it's kind of rooted in that a little bit, obviously. And so, but yeah, because it's kind of just a spin-off of WandaVision.
Yep.
Because the main character. But anyway, yeah, I like it. It's been good.
Also loved Loki, season 2.
Loki was so good.
I didn't realize how good that was going to be. Mm-hmm. I watched a couple episodes while not paying attention, and I was like, I don't know about that. And then I sat down one day and was like, I'm going to watch this. And oh my God, it was so good.
So good. Loki, I think, is the best show. Like, I don't even think there's a strong argument against it. WandaVision was really cool and good, but it's like very artsy, and it's like it's hard to appreciate in rewatches for me. Loki is always good. Like, Loki is just awesome.
Still nothing, Aaron? Still nothing?
No.
He's just not thankful for anything. Well, I'll just go again then. The thing I'm most thankful for is the friends we made along the way.
Aww.
Welcome to anime endings.
Yeah, exactly.
Dear God. I get so mad. I get so mad about those things. Parker, we're going to have a little anime sideshow real quick. Parker watched all of 7 Deadly Sins, which is a really weird, shitty anime. Anyway, it's fine. I'm not trying to shit on it. It's just not for me. But every character is like the aspect of something, like one of the 7 Deadly Sins. Like they're like there's the guy of pride, and there's like the guy of like whatever. Moving on, and he gets to the end of the show, and I'm gonna try not to spoil it, but basically the meaning of the show was the friends you made along the way. Parker got like violently angry. It was like throwing shit around his room. He's like, I watched 400 episodes of this fucking show just for friends you made along the way. He was so mad. And so I was talking with, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Connor or somebody else that watches anime at the store. And we were talking about One Piece came up, and we're at like 1,200 episodes of One Piece so far. Mm-hmm. And we were just literally talking about it. I was like, that the One Piece is the friends you made along the way.
Oh no!
and he looked back at me. He's like, it better fucking not be. It's
it
like,
better not be.
1,000% it is. It's like 100%. Oh, it's gonna be so funny. People are gonna burn down Japan. It's gonna be awful.
Also, if Marvel created pumpkin pie, I'm thankful for that. Thank you, Marvel.
I do like me some pumpkin pie. It's something different. Your tastes change over the years, right? Like as you get older, your tastes change. I used to refuse to put whipped cream on my pumpkin pie. Mm-hmm. Now I love it.
Oh, now it's mostly whipped cream and only some.
Right now I want the whipped cream, and the pumpkin pie is just there. And I've had plenty of whipped cream in my life. I've had lots of pumpkin pie in my life. They just didn't go together for a long time, and now they do.
That's why you want to go crazy. Get a pumpkin pie, one of those, like a milkshake, where they take a piece of pumpkin pie and ice cream and jam it in there and just blend it. God damn.
Yeah.
I'm gaining weight just thinking about it.
Blizzard. Yeah. Speaking of gaining weight, I'm going to make cheesy corn for tomorrow. That's going to be fun.
Ooh.
Most of your cheese type substances come in cardboard boxes, right?
Yes. Powder form is always the best.
No, they come in like foil bags inside cardboard boxes.
Oh.
Because it's an entire brick of Velveeta and 2 bricks of cream cheese. So it's like, that's probably supposed to be inside me. That's how that works. Still nothing, Aaron? Aaron doesn't like anything.
So he is very unthankful for all things Marvel.
Yeah, tell us things you hate. We'll just right-click invert.
What do I hate? Pretty much everything right now.
Bracket. Put it in brackets.
Ooh, you can be thankful for Path of Exile.
I'm hopeful for Path of Exile. I have yet to experience.
You're hopeful for Path of Exile 2.
Ooh, thankful for Path of Exile 1. There we go. I am thankful for Path of Exile 1.
We did it. See, I make people happy. That's what I do.
God damn. You just created hope and dreams.
I saved the universe.
You just did.
I'm also thankful for, you know what I really liked that I did not expect, is the bases on the monsters.
Do they have cool actual bases?
They have thematic bases for all 4 of them that go together that look really cool. They're like this abstract, like dark horror cobblestone, and so they're not like. It's really hard to pull this off well, but when you like make something stylized for artistic reasons, and so like they'll like bend and stretch the aspect ratios to make something. Like, it's usually done in like Gothic artwork where it's like, well, you made that, like Castlevania made the castle really tall when clearly it can't be. It's all like twisty and windy. It's like it can't be like that, but it is. And so like I really like when they pull that off well, and I think that the bases do that a little bit.
I think I'll have to pick up a Mephisto model. I don't think I'm going to get anything else, but that might be a purchase I need to make.
Cool. Yeah, I doubt you'll regret buying Mephisto until he gets nerfed.
I'm not
That's
sure
the problem.
I don't think he might be slightly overtuned, but he is nowhere near the NP experience the models we screamed for nerfs were. I could be wrong there, but that's my hot take.
The biggest problem I can see that would cause it to happen is the inability to interact with him due to his like bodyguard mechanic. Just because it's like, well, what's your answer? How do you counterplay him? You're like, you don't. Like, you just can't kill him, so you have to move on. Like, that's the only way I can see it happening.
Yeah, I still need 10 more games, because he wasn't... I mean, I dazed him in our game. The one game I played against him.
Well, it sounds like because you said he went off on turn 2, did he just move to the middle and you just got to dogpile him?
So it was turn 3. Okay. It was turn 3 when he went off, because turn 2, he dazed my entire team with Thor. I dazed his Mephisto back. And then turn 3, he woke up and murdered everyone. Like, KO'd them all.
So he just prioritized Thor over Mephisto.
Yes.
Which sounds like the right call.
Yeah. He dazed 3 models with Thor. It's pretty good. I had a lucky, I think it was...
It was
a Dracula spike on a spender into Mephisto to kill him with a throw.
Who did you say was fighting like their whole list 2v1? It's like
Drax.
Drax, yeah.
Yeah, Drax took on 8 points by himself.
I have something for one of our loyal listeners, Tyler. There you go. He likes the ASMR section.
Oh Lord.
So after your games, how well do you think the new leaderships rank amongst playability? Like, do you think the Mephisto and Dracula leadership have any place in competitive play? Because we joked about Winterguard for a long time, then we joked about Inhumans for a while before that, and then they kind of both have a spot. Like, they have value they bring. Do you think these are like just completely joke leaderships, or do you think they have some value?
I would give them both a B rating, I guess.
There's like the legitimate leaderships in the A group, and then they're in the not legitimate, or what do you mean?
Yeah, like they're not joke, but they're not something I think is going to consistently do well at a competitive tournament.
Do you think the value of not having to deal with affiliated models is worth that?
I think the fact that you're always taking a 5-threat is rough.
Okay.
That's what I think the fact that you're cobbled to a 5-threat model. Dracula has a shit ton of weaknesses. So I haven't played Mephisto's leadership yet, but I think Mephisto's leadership is almost inconsequential in terms of the power for your team writ large. I'd rather do what Jeremy's doing and just play fucking Thanos unaffiliated. Like,
yeah, for me, the Mephisto one is especially rough because you're probably, like, of the 4 cards Mephisto can bring to your list, his leadership's the 3rd worst, at least. Maybe the 4th worst. And, because, like, there's the Hellfire the Damned, or whatever that card's called, is bad. But it's not worthless. It has a function, it's just not good. And then the leadership is probably the worst leadership benefit in the game, outside of maybe Claw. And then Claw and him are in the same boat, where it's like, if Claw's in your list, now the question is just, is it worth taking another 4-point model to gain a different leadership, is really the question. And if the answer is no, and you're basically going to play unaffiliated, well, then you just slam down the leadership card. You're like, well, Mephisto's in my squad. Do I care to take a tactic slot to make him my leader? And you're like, well, it's probably worth a tactics card if Mephisto's already in your list. But not if you qualify for any other leadership. That's kind of where it is in my brain. Yeah.
And
so,
I can speak to the Dracula one because I've got a bunch of experience.
Exactly.
It is not useless, but it is not good.
I played against him a lot. And I find that to be true. Yeah.
Okay.
It seems like everybody's bringing Dracula these days, and all the tournament stuff that I've ran into. Like, there's a lot of Dracula out there. It's not his leadership that it's much better in other things.
I think Dracula in other lists is much better than Dracula in his own list.
Sure. I think that was intended to be true, and I think they succeeded.
Yeah, but they're definitely not unplayable. There are some interesting synergies you can pull off. Dracula heals for at least an extra 1 based off of his leadership. It turns on models like Drax. Like, it's not, again, not useless, but if your goal is to win, you are definitely fighting with at least your arm constrained a little bit if you're bringing Mephisto or Drac as your leader.
Oh, something from my game I played, Mist Form, extremely good. The ability to just shake and also move and heal too is fucking awesome. It's like, oh god, I can't believe I'm like incinerated and shocked and bleeding and stunned. Well, I guess I'll just get rid of all that heal 2 and move over here. Like, it's like, fucking Christ. Like, god damn.
But again, it's your 5-threat model that took a move action.
I mean,
that's bad.
You're not wrong, right?
That's
but just
bad.
if you just said you could take an action to heal 2, that's not worthless. It's not great, but it's not worthless. Like, hey, I killed you with the first hit. I guess I'd rather be on this objective point over here.
Sure, having it is
like,
not...
well, now I get to heal and shake. Yes. Like, it's great.
Having it is better than not having it.
I think it was legitimately, there's times when I was like, I could make an attack here, but I don't want to give you power, and I'm probably not going to one-shot you, so I'll just move out of your attack range, heal 2, and get rid of this bleed, and then just, like, hit you back when you walk up to me later. It's like... Or it's like, I need to walk over there to get the extract. Like, there's so many times that you just, like, squeeze it in on something you're already doing.
Yeah.
Because most people move away from Dracula. They don't want to get hit. So you're like, well, I'll just Mist Form, heal 2, and hit you. And you're like, oh, shit.
Yep.
I was just surprised at how useful it felt. I used it twice in our game.
Only one I haven't done is the first one. I don't remember what it is.
It's the flight, which is totally worthless.
Yeah.
It's flight, long move, heal 2, and shake. Yeah, which is awesome.
I've definitely done Wolf and Mist.
Yeah, Mist is crazy. Wolf is clearly good for the first turn. It's like, I just hit you. Like, he just becomes Namor speed, which is really fast.
Yep. Or when you're just like, medium didn't quite get me there, I guess I'll go long.
Oh, I didn't even think about it. That means he's a safe grabber.
No, he only has 1 power.
But you don't...
Cost of power to go into form.
Oh, did I missed that then? I cheated.
Oh, cheater.
I mean, I had enough power, but...
Yeah, no, it definitely.
Let me tell you, Red Skull 1 Dracula doesn't need power. that guy fucking gets power. It was like, yeah, so I'm gonna spend 3, hit you back, gain a power, bleed you, and heal 3. And they're like, what? It's like, yeah, it's fucking great. Alright, Dracula. Beginning of when this character begins a move action, during its activation, it may use one of the following. If it does, choose one of the following resolve before moving. It does not cost power. What are you talking about? Shapeshifting doesn't cost power. When this character begins a move action during its activation, it may use the superpower. Oh, the fucking thing, I see. It does cost 1. You are correct.
Like, what?
I'm an idiot. I just read it as an innate. I didn't even see it was reactionary power. I read it as if it was an innate. That's funny. Okay, yeah.
Even though Parker's not here, he's still here.
That was a good one. Reading the card explains the card. Oh boy. Yeah, Dracula's been very fun. The first time I read him, I was like, this is the best model ever released. I'm so excited. And then I read him again when he got fully announced, when we did the news segment. I'm like, I remember this guy being better. And I think it's just my memory had him on such a pedestal that I was like, I thought he had charge. Why? This model sucks. And now I'm like, I played him. I'm like, this model's fucking great. It's just such a roller coaster. I'm very much excited to continue playing my list. I only played Red Skull 1 in that game because I wanted to test Red Skull 1 with Apex Predator. Apex was dazed in the middle of round 2 without activating. So he woke up on round 3 with 10 power. I also had Dracula 10 power who had 3 damage on him, and Mephisto with 10 power who had 2 damage on him. I chose to activate Apex Predator, and my opponent said, "Are you sure you want to do that?" And I said, "I'm reasonably sure."
Signs point to yes.
Dazed Crimson Dynamo, KO'd Mephisto, and dazed his magic in that activation. I was like, I made the right call. Because the problem was he had his Crimson Dynamo only had 1 health left, and so I just immediately threw him into his Mephisto. So he dazes him, does 3 damage to Mephisto. Then I pounce into Mephisto, hit him. He takes 3 damage, and so he's only got 1 left. And so I just claw him, kill him, and then I spent for the Onslaught, and then did an 8 dice builder into magic, and just fucking killed her, right? And so then he conveniently gained 6 power off of that, and was back at 10 basically. It's oh god. It was very fun. But yeah, I really like my list. I'm excited to try it with Red Skull 3 as well, because I don't know why I thought it would be important for Mephisto to get placed range 2 by Red Skull 1. I don't know why I thought that would be good, because he's already so fast that it's irrelevant. They would have to move so far past the midline to be able to have that place 2 matter, because it only matters if he could place 2 off of medium and then just immediately do How Can I Be a Service, and that's never going to happen. And so, but scalpeling him, I think, would get him close enough. And so, I'll try that next time. And then, obviously, the skull crits as extra damage is good. You're sticking with Dracula for a while, Aaron, right?
Yep.
I'm sticking with Cabal for a while. Jeremy, are you sticking with your unaffiliated pile?
Yep.
Alrighty.
I feel like anyone, because I don't generally enter the store asking for games, so people ask me for a game, and I'm like, oh, sure, okay, let's do this. It kind of makes me chuckle. I'm like, this is for you. You
say that, but you were the first person at the store on Thursday, and you brought in your MCP models immediately.
No, because I knew people were there to play that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to bring the other games in and stuff. I know that's why people are there. It's fine.
Can you guys remind me?
Next
time we're at the store together, I'm going to change the official game night for Judgment to Fridays, and so I'm going to update the calendar and all that. I keep forgetting when you guys aren't there, so just remind me next time.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, it sounds like we're all going to continue attempting to murder people as effectively as possible.
Yep.
That sounds fun. Alrighty. Well, hopefully you guys had fun listening to us, and hopefully you guys have fun playing games, and you have a good holiday. This has been Brandon,
Jeremy,
and Aaron.
And you've just listened to The Gang Eats Cheesy Corn.
So what are we going to call this thing?
I got it. Okay. Incredible, new, fantastic, astonishing, mighty, original, uncanny, sensational podcast.
I'm just going to put down infamous.
Did you like that, Jeremy?
What?
Was that a good one?
What was a good one?
Cadence.
I have no idea. How would I know?
Mm.
How would I know?
You're what they refer to in the business as sound blind.
Pretty much. COVID took away my sense of smell. You all have took away my sense of rhythm.
Confidence.
I never had it. We're good. So I was attacked by dad jokes today. I don't know why.
Good.
Yeah. Where does a turkey have the most feathers?
Where?
On the outside.
Ta-da. I don't think that's a dad joke. That's a not joke.
I don't know. They kept doing it.
Not jokes are jokes that like are technically correct, but nothing about them is entertaining or funny.
I would claim that all of the things that you guys do are like that. Yes.
No, because like dad jokes are funny, like on a childish level, but really the entertainment value comes from the people you tell it to.
Mm.
Like, for example, where does a pirate buy his hooks? From the secondhand store.
That's cute.
See? My joke was better than his joke.
It wasn't my joke. It was people did that to me at work. I don't know why.
I mean, you told it to an audience. That's your joke now. That's how jokes work.
Sure. Okay.
Just ask Dane Cook. See? Joke.
Joke. That was another joke. See? Got it. Perfect.
I didn't know Jeremy was going to be here today. I have a long list of dad jokes that I've been compiling, but I don't have them in front of me, so now I have to like try and find them throughout the podcast.
I like how it's a Discord that you created, but you never fucking read it.
There's too much to read.
Oh yeah, when Parker said I have the plague and I have yet again gotten myself sick enough where I can't do anything, I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I followed up with, yeah, I think I'll be on tonight. And then you followed up with, hey, who are we waiting for? And also, where is Jeremy doing? What's Jeremy doing here?
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm sorry, my friend's a little slow.
Well, I check Discord at like 3 times a day. Mm-hmm. I usually check it around like 1 to 2 o'clock.
Yeah. Then 2 a.m. and 3 a.m.
No, I check it again. Usually it's like 10 o'clock. And then at 3 a.m. Those are the times I check it. So I'll see why it's so hard for you guys to get in touch with me.
Oh, yeah.
You also could do anything that shows me a red circle. I'll check those almost immediately.
What is that, like a contact you or something?
No, Jeremy, that's how Discord works. I understand that this is news to you, but if you do the @ symbol and then type someone's name, mm-hmm. it will send them a notification so it doesn't just get lost in the mix.
Well, it never gets lost in the mix, in my opinion. But for you,
mm-hmm.
I'm sorry I wasn't specifically.
I respond best to bat signals.
Yeah.
It's the best way to get hold of me.
What I heard is Brandon wants us to @ him multiple times a day now.
That's not what I said. What I said was if you need to get a hold of me and want me to see it sooner, then you should do that. And honestly, like it wouldn't annoy me, so go ahead.
You'd be like, look at all these friends I have. Everyone was wrong.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Actually, most of my notifications I get from Discord are from random bullshit advertising anyway. You should not be allowed to @ people in servers unless there's an actual reason, not just stupid shit. Hey guys, just letting you know it's Tuesday. And I'm like, why did you add everyone for this? And it's like, this is how you get people to leave your server.
You're not wrong.
I finished watching The Penguin and highly recommend. 100% recommend.
I've heard good things.
But I mean, I did watch all of The Walking Dead, so I finished that, then watched The Penguin. I mean, that's the equivalent of what? Like eating a bit of cereal you found on the floor and then eating a filet mignon. Like going, one was really good. Can you believe how good that was?
Mm-hmm. I was actually going to say, I'm now rewatching Walking Dead as well. 2 people, you and Jim from the store, were both like, yeah, I just rewatched Walking Dead. I'm like, oh, really? And so I put it back on while I was like, I have it on in the background while I'm like doing 3D print stuff. So I'm like taking models off supports and washing them and stuff while it's just on in the garage.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of shit that happens in that show that I completely forgot about.
Yeah. There's people that were on the show for many seasons that you'll completely forget about.
I always knew like that character existed, but I like forgot who played them and like what they look like.
Mm-hmm.
Like I couldn't picture like the blonde girl from the original group, like at all. I couldn't remember who she was. I just remember that there was a blonde girl.
Yeah.
And then the more I watched the show, like, I remember why I forgot this character, because she's very annoying.
Oh, yeah.
The thing that still gets me, though, and I'm like right there, I just started season 4.
Mm-hmm.
And holy shit, I hate the governor as the character. And all I hear from everyone else is that's like their favorite character from the show. I'm just
Lord.
like, why? He's terrible. He's an unredeemable character. And not like a like morally unforgivable. Like, that's his character, right? He's supposed to be morally unforgivable. I get that. It's just like the writing of that character is unforgivably bad. It's like he's just another one of those like plot armor immune characters.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, no matter what he does, how stupid it is, he will never get killed. Because the point of him is to be annoying. And it's like, no matter what he does, he'll never get caught. No matter how stupid lies he tells to people, they'll never think it through and realize he's lying. And it's just like, it's like Umbridge from Harry Potter. It's like, the character commonly does shit that should have them thrown in jail or killed. But just nobody calls them on it, basically. And it's just like, no, like, you can't do this. And the only way it's working is because there's a conspiracy of everyone around them being impressed by that person to keep all the shit they're doing secret. I'm like, that's so badly written. Like, if anyone just talked to somebody, it's like CW level writing. Like, this all goes away if you just tell somebody what your problem is.
I think the problem is, too, like, because my kids read all of the comic books and these giant-ass graphic novel things that my in-laws bought
For
them.
Walking Dead.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, these characters are way worse than they are on TV. Like, they're toned down so much. Like, if they're big bad guys, they're like twice as big and twice as evil. So, I mean, that the character probably makes more sense like that instead of trying to hit some sort of middle ground.
Well, I would say the governor's already pretty off the deep end for, like, being, like, crazy evil. Because, like, the shit he does is, like, he doesn't choose to do stuff because it makes sense. Like, it's not like, this is for the greater good, or, like, if you take emotion out of the decision-making, this is the decision you would make. No, it's just, like, you're just choosing to be crazy. Like, the shit you're doing makes no sense. There's no advantage being gained from it. You just, it's like the Thanos issue. Like, you have infinite power, you could just create infinite resources, and you don't have to kill half the people. Like, that doesn't even make sense. Not to mention that wouldn't fix the problem. Like, but you did it anyway. Like, it's just like, the whole point is that he's crazy, right? He's been, psychotically broken from all of the shit he went through in his life, and now he's just out to be deranged, basically. Like, you can't reason with him. He's the mad titan. That's the whole point of his character. As where, when you get to like the characters in Walking Dead, you're supposed to believe it's like, this is just a broken person, but then he understands what people want from him, and he pretends to give it to them just to be crazy behind closed doors. Like, that's not how that works. Like people that are that unhinged can't function properly. But then they show him repeatedly functioning properly and understanding what people want and lying to them, saying he's going to give it to them just to turn around and backstab them for no benefit to himself. It's just like, what is happening? Yeah. And so that's why I hate the character.
He's a weird one, because he was the first introduction of, like, oh, people can still make a town. And then he was like the real, like, king or whatever.
Yeah.
So they've had so many different versions of that guy, except way more complex characters.
Right. Where they, like, learn from their poor writing. Yeah. Yeah, the thing I like about Zombie Apocalypse as the setting is always, like, the infrastructure. Like, what do you do now? It's like, okay, you're no longer running directly away from zombies. Now what? Like, the concept of, like, how to be resourceful, and, like, the logistics, and, like, the psychological aspect of, like, can you trust people that have lived through this situation? Because not necessarily the people you want to spend time with are the people that lived through this horrific event.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's like that weird part. And so I like the whole aspect of the show. But I kind of stopped watching towards the middle to later seasons for, I think, the same reason a lot of people, that the show quality went down a lot, and, like, a lot of it was just, like, regurgitated drama.
Yeah, you can only watch zombies, like, move towards people and get fought back on. I mean, the amount of hours of footage of just that simple act. Zombie walks, several zombies appear. Zombie tries to attack, stab it in head, guy gets fought, whatever, and then progress. So 7 minutes per episode, per however many episodes. Like, good God.
I didn't realize how short the earlier seasons were. Like, they're only like 10 episodes. Which it's still like a lot of content, but it's not nearly what I was remembering.
Oh,
I was thinking they were like 20 episode seasons.
Don't worry.
And so like the first season, yeah, exactly, right? Like the first season went by really fast because I think it's only like 8 episodes. It was like almost nothing.
Yeah.
I
But no,
I also remember
they make up for
the
it at the end.
CDC stuff was like weirdly out of place, and it was like they tried to jump the shark at the end of the season.
Mhm.
I don't know if that stuff's like comic book canon or what, but they just like
It is.
they wrote this whole thing just to do nothing with it. It felt really weird because they could have just said they found a random doctor that gave them the information that the doctor gave them. And so why'd they choose the CDC? Is it just to have a big monumental event? And then they go through all this trouble of showing how secure and advanced this building is just to blow it up in the next episode. It's just really weird.
I think
like,
it's all
what
about
is
hope,
happening?
right? Like that was driving them. Like that's the only thing they really had. All right, the CDC, they'll know what to do. And it was like, fuck me.
Exactly. And so like that was all cool, but like it just felt really odd. I remember watching it the first time around going, this feels so weird. Like why couldn't like they have just like the real problem is like they show up the day the thing is going nuclear, right? Like if they had just shown up a day earlier, they'd be like, well, we can just go get more gas. Like that's not a problem. And they're like, oh yeah, that's not a problem. There's like 100 million gallons of gasoline in the city, and that's if you don't leave the city. And I'm like, oh yeah, that really wouldn't be a problem, especially with a group of like people that are arrested and like armed, because like there was plenty of weapons there. They had like 30 dozen M16s with ammunition, like, and there was a tank outside. Like they could have done basically anything.
Yeah.
Nah.
What they're not telling
you... They showed up in the 3-hour block where it wouldn't have worked. Like
what they're not telling you is this is the precursor for Mad Max. It's just 300 years before.
Yeah, exactly. And so the interesting thing for me is like they talk about in like season 3 when you meet the governor and the governor's talking to his like research guy. He's like, oh, well, like, why aren't they starving to death? He's like, oh, they are. It's just happening really slow. And at no point when they were talking back and forth and going all this stuff, like, and then they bring in Andrea, the girl from the group, and she's like talking with the doctor. Nobody ever shares the information that they have about like the biological components of the zombies. Mm-hmm. It's like if she just explains it, like, oh yeah, they did this. Like I literally witnessed a doctor explain the illness to me, and she just doesn't mention it. Like this isn't important. I know you're doing this research. It's just cutting open these corpses trying to figure this exact problem out. I'm just going to forget that I mentioned that. And so it's just really funny. It's like if they just told us like, oh yeah, it's this like virus that attacks the brainstem, and it like we've seen a fucking brain scan of somebody who is a zombie. And it's like, yeah, there's no synapse activity. We know they're not like conscious. And so it's like we just need to figure out why this is happening, and so your research can go in a useful direction. And like, it's just annoying. But like the whole concept of like, well, we know they're starving. It's just like how long until they truly starve. And it's like that would have been the kind of information that would have been extremely useful. It's like, well, we could just hold up for 3 years; they'll all die. And you're like, oh, well, there you go. Like,
you'll be holed up for 3 years, and you're like, okay, they must all be dead. And you're like, wait, they've been eating deer and cats. Son of a bitch.
Sure, no, like, there's some, but, like, the vast majority, there's not enough food for it to go around. Like, the vast majority of them start dying off, so you just need to get to, like, this timeline, and then the zombies we kill matter, because there's only so many left. As we're right now, like, killing them is pointless, because, like, they're going to die of starvation before you kill enough of them to matter. And so, like, that kind of stuff is always, like, that's where my brain goes immediately, is the analytical parts of it. Mm-hmm. But the shows rarely do that because it's a drama. So
I am excited for The Ones Who Live, which is the story of what happened with Rick. Like, that seems interesting. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know where the show gets to that point, because Rick was still in it when I was watching. So at this point, I'm kind of curious. Yeah. Am I skipping over stuff that I should be watching now? Is it like a Buffy Angel thing where I should be watching multiple shows simultaneously?
No.
Or do you watch all of one and then move on and then watch all of that?
It's actually kind of a refresher. So what I've heard to do is you watch all of whatever, the first thing, and then go to Daryl. That's where I went to. And then Fear of the Walking Dead, which is what's going on in a city. Whole different series, right? Or a whole different, like...
the
West
Coast
angle.
Well,
yeah.
I also think that's a it starts off as a prequel
Mhm.
and then catches up a couple seasons in, and then parallels The Walking Dead, the original series.
So am I supposed to watch that first?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, there's no overlap.
So Morgan is a character in The Walking Dead.
Yeah, I know Morgan.
He joins Fear the Walking Dead in like their season 6, and I'm making up that number.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
so there's character overlap, but
Yeah, I knew he was in one of the other shows. I thought it was Fear. So
I don't know that I would watch all of The Walking Dead and then pick a show. It doesn't matter which one.
Yeah, it doesn't
Okay.
matter. But the one I'm interested in is Rick. Like because they have a whole like his whole storyline of where he's at and where he's been has been like a mystery for the fucking last 5 seasons or whatever, like however long that he's been missing. It's probably only 3 seasons actually. I don't think it was
I was
that
gonna
long.
say, 'cause I thought I had seen up through like season 8. And I think there's only 11.
And it's weird because it does like Lost, where it's like there's no answers.
Yeah,
like,
it gets to
it
the
just
point where it
fucking
doesn't
drops
know
you.
how to end it. It just
Yeah.
kept building. Yeah.
And luckily, like, or at least happily, there's information out there. So I'm like, okay, well, let's check this out. And that's all to say, it's not a great show in my opinion. I think the first few seasons are all right, but woof, fuck.
I like all the prison stuff. I think that's a cool way to.
I think
handle
that's
the
my
zombie
favorite
issue.
season arc. My favorite story arc, rather, is the prison.
Yeah.
Yeah, by far.
Because they're in this prison through all of 3 and 4.
It's like half of 3 and 4 or something.
It just makes
No,
so much
they
sense.
find the prison the first episode of 3.
Okay.
And I think they leave the prison the last episode of 4.
Okay.
But I'm still in season 4 right now.
Sure.
Like, to me, the crazy part to me was like, well, there's a lot of prisons. Like, as soon as they, like, leave the prison, like, wouldn't you just go look for another prison? Like, you've not found anything better than that.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah. And also, like, the whole time I'm watching them, like, they're clearing the fences, like, every day. I'm like, why don't you just put up curtains? So they're clearly only trying to get in because they could see you. Just put up, like, black curtains. And they wouldn't try and push in the fences. And, like, that just seems ridiculously simple to me.
Yeah,
Like, what are you guys doing? Hey, hold on, let's put up all these barricades. Like, where? Like, no, just put up sight blockers. Like, yeah.
Crazy talk.
Yeah, I know, right? Not to mention the prisons, like, theoretically in the middle of nowhere. They specifically don't build prisons near cities for a reason. And so, like, where are all these, like, I get the cool, like, giant roaming herds and stuff, but, like, that's not what they're running into most of the time. It's just random stragglers. It's just crazy to me that there's, like, that many roaming zombies, but, like, the only other media I've ever seen go into the way that, like, mechanic could work is the World War Z book, where they talk about how basically they just get into the, like, monkey see thing. It's like one zombie will, like, chase a rabbit, and then, like, 5 zombies will see him and start following. And then they just kind of have momentum, and they just keep going in a straight line until they see something that makes them turn. And so then just more and more zombies see them roaming, and they just kind of funnel in behind them to where you end these massive herds that are like thousands and thousands large. And so I don't know if you guys have read World War Z.
Yeah, I have.
I figured Jeremy had. Well, it's actually kind of an interesting read because it's written from the perspective of like found footage almost, but it's just like stories of individuals. The premise of the book is after the zombie apocalypse, a guy went around collecting stories of individuals, and he compiled them into a novel. And that's like the concept of the book. And so he'll talk to people who are like, oh yeah, you were at this place when this thing happened. Why don't you tell me about it? And one of them is like this guy who was part of a military unit in New York. And they talked about how that phenomenon happened. And this enormous herd of like, it's like 25,000 zombies just kind of walked from New York City to like Ohio. And that's where they encountered them. And at the point they're trying to like act, like once they've realized like the world falls, right, and it's just individuals at that point, they realize that the way they were trying to fight the zombies was the way they're trying to fight all the humans, which is like you've got like hollow point bullets and all this stuff is like which is meant to cause like flesh wound damage and like frag grenades and all this stuff. It's like none of this is meant to actually just one shot kill somebody. It's all meant to injure them. And none of that shit is very effective versus zombies. And so they just go back to like World War II M1 Grands and they just shoot them in the head. They're like, wow, this works way better than automatic rifles, which are horribly inaccurate. And so they put together a group of like 40 guys and they've got like 30 riflemen and they basically take shifts, and so they'll have like 10 guys resting, 10 and 20 guys shooting, and they'll just rotate. And then they just have pickup trucks full of bullets. It's just bullets. It's like just hundreds of thousands of rounds that they just drive around with. And they just like form ranks, and they just calmly fire, just like headshot everybody. And then they when they encountered this herd, it was like a 19-hour combat where they just kept shooting them, and it piled up so high that the zombies were slowing down trying to climb over the pile of dead zombies to get to them. They just had to pull back 50 yards to give them space to land on the other side of the hill and then keep shooting them. And so just over 19 hours, they just kept rotating guys in and out. They went through like, I don't know, 30,000 rounds just killing zombies. There's like, well, that was weird. Where all these zombies came from? We were in the forest. We encountered these guys. It was very funny. So I very much like that book.
It's written by Mel Brooks' son.
Oh, is that who it is?
Mm-hmm.
I remember it was a semi-famous person.
Yeah, his son, and then he wrote, what is it? He adds zombies into classical books.
Yeah, I remember that. It's like War and Peace and Zombies.
Yes,
like,
that's what it was. I was trying to think of.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently the World War Z one was the very best of the bunch.
Yeah. Yeah, the movie is not at all even remotely similar to the book.
It's not, which is bizarre. Like,
yeah, they just
could have
co-opted the name for
amazing.
brand recognition. Yeah. Alrighty, let's jump into our Mojo world for today. We're doing Submarine movies. So last week we did boats, and so we stuck to only surface vessel stuff. This week we're doing submersibles, so anything under the water. Jeremy gets to go first because he was out for the last, I don't know, was it 19 weeks?
I don't know. Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
I'm going to take Abyss. Just handle it.
You fucker. Why do you take all of my stuff?
James Cameron, he only makes a movie every 20 years, but it's pretty good.
It's usually pretty good.
It's usually pretty good. All
right, Aaron, you are up next, sir.
There is only one submarine movie, and that is Das Boot.
Das Boot. I thought that was a beer movie. All right. Well, I appreciate you taking that. That leaves two good options left for me.
There's only two.
Now I'm good to go. I was really worried I was going to get stuck with nothing. All right. Well, I'm going to go with an obvious one that everybody should have seen by now. Down Periscope.
Yeah.
All right. Probably the most iconic submarine movie, at least from my childhood, was The Hunt for Red October. So we're going to go with that. Since Jeremy took my Abyss.
I know. It was so good.
All right. Aaron, your second pick.
U-571.
Yeah, I figured that'd be a U thing. I think I saw that once in like middle school, and I can't remember anything about it. I just remember there was a boat and it might sink.
There's a boat.
All right. Jeremy, we got your final two picks here. Let's see if you can take everything left on my list.
One of my actual favorite movies, Life Aquatic.
That's a Bill Murray, right?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I should probably see that.
I'm trying to. Let's just go with it. Let's go with The Meg. I do enjoy it.
The Meg. I didn't think that would make our list. I've seen The Meg. It wasn't a terrible movie.
It's not terrible. It's fun. It's just a fun movie.
Yeah. It has very Piranha feel to it.
Piranha Dawn.
All right, Aaron, you're up.
K-19.
What was it?
K-19.
K-19.
The Widowmaker.
Is that a training video or something? I don't know what that is.
Training video.
Liam Neeson doing a very
Oh.
not great Russian accent.
Oof.
Liam Neeson's?
Unless I'm thinking of the wrong one. I'm pretty sure Liam Neeson's in K-19.
Probably.
There's so many of these movies that I haven't seen, so this is hard. Men of Honor doesn't count, right?
No, they're not even in subs. He comes off boats.
They're in suits, yeah.
I'm like, they're personal subs? I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's like
I do like that movie.
Submarine. It is a good movie. All right, we'll go with League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, I guess. It's that or a movie I can't remember anything about.
I'm just glad that movie finally got talked about.
We've talked about this movie many times.
I actually enjoy that one quite a bit. It's just a fun.
It's a
romp.
fun little silly movie. Yeah, you just have to know that, like, obviously it has nothing to do with reality.
The Jekyll and Hyde thing is fucking amazing.
The Jekyll and Hyde thing's pretty cool. It's got a lot of good actors in it. The whole way they do the vampire thing and the Dorian Gray thing are all great. I like the Jekyll and Hyde stuff. Like, honestly, all of the characters are cool in, like, that super campy, supernatural way. But, like, there's just, like, basically no plot or, like, realism to the show at all. It feels very, like, I don't know, Captain America and Hydra kind of thing going on, where it's, like, the secret organizations. It's just very odd. Yeah, I think the movie is much maligned, and I don't know what people are expecting. I think a lot of people just went to go see it because Sean Connery was in it, and they hated it because it wasn't James Bond, and I don't know what they were expecting. Yeah, it's the same thing with, like, Van Helsing. I love that movie. Like, it's so good.
Van Helsing's a blast.
Van Helsing's amazing, right? Like, it's so good. There are, like I said, there are several Submarine movies I do want to see that I haven't seen yet. Hunter Killer with Gerard Butler looks pretty good. I really want to see that.
I'm just really glad neither of you said Crimson Tide.
It was on my list just because I know I've seen it at some point, but I swear to God I cannot remember a single fucking thing about it.
Is that the one with Alec Baldwin?
No,
it's Gene Hackman and Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah, Gene Hackman. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's the one
Is it
where
Cuba Gooding Jr.?
No, it's
no, it's not.
Name?
He's in Men of Honor. Denzel?
Denzel.
Yes, Denzel.
Yeah, it's Denzel.
Is that the one where he lost?
That's the one where he gets like mutiny, not
mutiny. Yes. You lock him up. No, you lock him up. No, now I'm in charge.
That was so good. Now that I remember that now. Yes.
Okay, you're dead. You're fucking dead to me.
Do you just hate it because it's so against like actual military procedure?
Yes, 1,000%.
That was based on a documentary filmed in real time.
It's literally found footage.
It's like Blair Witch, but under the sea.
Oh, it just fucking kills me because, like, in the end, they don't nuke, right? That's like what Denzel's like. You know, we have to make sure if we're gonna kill people, we have to make sure the actual military procedures to fucking nuke the world in the scenario they were given.
Well, there's actually, like, historical records of, like, people being in that situation and they didn't fire. Like Russia was supposed to fire.
Are there?
There's one I know for sure where a submarine...
do you? Okay.
Russian submarine... Well, there's a document of it. Who knows what's going on. But there's a record of a Russian submarine that lost contact for, like, a set amount of time, and they got an order that they thought meant fire, and, like, they just didn't. Because they're like, if the world's actually over, like, by the time they figured out what was going on, like, we're so far overdue already, like, the world's either glass or it's not when we come up. Like, we don't really know what's going on. Let me see now. Am I just imagining this?
Probably.
Russian submarine operator Vasily Arkhipov, born January 1926, was senior naval officer who prevented a Russian submarine from launching a nuclear torpedo against ships of the United States. I mean, it's a Wikipedia article, so who knows? Seems fairly legit. Anyway.
I bow before the wisdom of Wikipedia.
No, I know, right? Yeah, I'm just saying. I've heard that, and it came up on the internet. I don't know if it's true or not. I'm not trying to spread false information. I'm just saying it's something I've heard before.
Great, we're gonna get a blue flag again.
I mean, definitely, anything come out of Russia is solid gold reliable. So, yeah. What are we talking about today? I have some interesting evidence, I'll call it, that we can talk about.
We can talk about news while Parker's gone.
Ooh, we have news?
Well, kind of.
I thought we got news that there was going to be news.
I don't know this news.
Oh, it was just they announced that they're going to make an announcement.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, but it was like nothing important.
That's so meta. We've got
I know
news that there
nothing of
might
this.
be news
Yeah,
about news.
AMG posted something on their socials that was like upcoming transmission, like blah blah blah. But it's more like just like when to expect to be able to buy stuff. Like, I mean, this is usually. I mean, there's almost never anything in December. So,
They published the timelines list for next year.
ooh, yeah, we can talk about that.
I haven't looked at it. I just know generally what's in there.
Yeah. Jeremy, do you have a list that you've been playing lately that you want to talk about for currently playing?
I don't know if it's worth talking about. I think
Okay. We'll get to it, I'm sure.
Aaron actually discovered the values. I'm just using the power.
Okay. All right, well, I'm going to grab some water. I'll be right back. And then we can get this roll. All right, you guys ready to do this?
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.